Hey everyone, welcome to Encore, and today we're going to talk about how you can soften expression lines. Hey everyone, welcome back. So there are times that maybe when you are working on a makeup look that you wanted to soften some of your expression lines, whether it's your smile lines around the mouth area, or perhaps you have squint lines like I do. And I squint a lot because my eyes are sensitive to sunlight, even with sunglasses, so I tend to squint a lot, and therefore I get these expression lines from squinting, right here. Or maybe a couple of lines on your forehead from raising your brows. You know, it's a natural expression sometimes that you raise your brows, and therefore you get some lines in your forehead. And also when you smile, some of us get crow's feet, you know, like on the side of the eyes. But my advice, ladies or gents, is that don't erase them. You know, don't try to conceal all of them. Just soften them, okay? Because what's going to happen is, like, if there are people that's around you a lot, and they're going to see you with like a super concealed expression line, it's going to look more odd, and they'll be just like, what did you do? You know, and it's going to look obvious. But try to soften it, and, you know, if you want to, just kind of like conceal some of it, but not all of it, okay? In this video, I'm going to show you guys how I soften my expression lines, especially my smile lines, whenever I wanted to do it, and my squinting lines right here, and probably this line right here, which is a little bit more prominent than the rest of the lines that are in my forehead when I raise my brows. But this one right here is a little bit more obvious, so I'm just going to soften that, alright? So what I do is I use two concealers. The first concealer I use is at least 1 to 2 shades lighter than my natural skin tone, okay? And I use a concealer brush, and then I use a second concealer that's at least 1 shade darker than my natural skin tone. And for color reference, I'm an NC30 for those of you guys who are MAC users. Now for concealer, I like using the NWs, okay, because it's got a little bit more of a salmon undertone than a yellow undertone, and therefore it neutralizes some darkening more so than a yellow undertone concealer would. And the first concealer I'm going to use, by the way, I'm going to be using 2 different shades of concealer to really successfully soften some of the expression lines. The first color is going to be at least 1 shade lighter than my skin tone. So this is an NW25. And I'm just going to use my concealer brush, and what I do to soften that, I'm just going to soften this side. Well, okay, this side, because I want to soften this for you guys as well. And what I do is I smile, and then I follow the groove or the crease of this expression lines. Okay, and I just put a line, just like that. Alright? So I just do that up to where I want to conceal it to. Alright? Okay, just like that. I'll just leave that. And then for my squint line, I'm going to take care of this side for you guys. So that way we can see side by side later on. Okay, and then I squint. And then once again, I follow the crevice of the expression line. Okay, so basically I just put a line right there where the crevice is, and then I have this deep line right here that I'm going to soften as well. So I'll raise my eyebrows, and then just put a line right in the crevice. Okay, just like that. Next, I'm going to move on to my second color. Now, my second color is 1 shade darker than my skin tone. So this is a 35. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place that right on the 2 sides of the line that I initially started with. There's 1. There's 2. So as you can see, it's just a little darker than my skin tone, and that line is a shade lighter than my skin tone. Okay, so just like that, so just 2 strips, alright, on both sides of that center line. Alright, same thing with my squint line. Just going to apply this to the side. Just like that. And then same thing with this line. I'm just going to put a strip and a strip. Alright, just like so. Okay, next I'm going to use a sponge, and it's moistened with water. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend the colors together. And then you can add as needed. And blend further. So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to soften it up a little bit, so that way, you know, it doesn't look, you still wanted to see a little bit of the expression line, because that's just natural, you know, to see a little bit of expression line. And as you can see, this looks softer than this already, okay? So it doesn't take that long really once you get used to it. It's just a matter of just placing the concealer right in the right spot, and then of course blending it. You don't have to completely blend it, you know, thoroughly at this point, because you're still going to have your foundation on top of that. So just try to blend it as much as you can so that, you know, the concentration is getting rid of the expression line. All right, just like that. And then we're going to work on my squint line. Again, blending it. What I usually do is I squint again and see if I still wanted to soften that further. See, I want to soften it a little bit right there. So I just add as needed, blend. And then I'm going to work on my forehead. Just want to soften that really deep crease right there. Once again, add as needed. Okay, so basically what you wanted to do is like you wanted to use a light concealer so that you can lighten up the deeper crevice on the expression line, and then you want to use the second concealer, which is a darker shade, just one shade darker than your natural skin color, so that you can darken the sides, which is picking up more light than the deeper part is, okay? So therefore it balances out and it softens the line. So as you can see right now, you can see a little bit more of an expression line in my smile line right here than this one is, because it's softened, okay? So that's what you wanted to achieve. Now, same thing on crow's feet. You wanted to do the same exact procedure and same exact concept. Now, like I said, don't completely erase them, because it's just going to look more odd, but soften it a little bit, and maybe just a few of them that you can totally just conceal, basically, okay? But try to not completely erase all of them with the concealer. Alright, and then just go over it once again to make sure that, you know, you get the effect that you wanted, the softest you can get it. Alright, without it looking too obvious. Alright, here we go. Alright, and then finally apply foundation on top of that. Okay, so once you soften the expression lines that you wanted to soften, you're ready for a foundation. Now I'm going to use a powder foundation. This is Studio Fix. And I'm just going to apply this all over my face, and then you guys can see side by side the difference. Okay, so once you finish applying your foundation, you should be able to see the difference, okay? So here they are, side by side. As you can see, when I smile, you can barely see this expression line than this one right here. So this one's a lot more prominent than this one is now, okay? It's just softened, it's not completely erased, but it definitely makes a difference. Now, same thing with my squint line. See how this one is a lot more prominent and a lot more obvious looking than this one. This is a lot softer. Alright? So you can see the difference, yet it still looks natural, okay, and it doesn't look like it's caked on concealed. And like I said, it's just a matter of just putting a little bit of concealer, blending it, putting a little bit more as needed, and then just make sure it nicely, you know, blend with the rest of your skin, right? Okay, and then my forehead right here, this line right here is not as prominent anymore, okay, compared to these ones over here. So I don't want to completely erase it because it's still natural that when you lift your brows, it creates these creases and lines in your forehead. So I don't want to completely erase that. I just want to soften it a little bit, okay? So there you go. Smile line softened. Squint line definitely softened right there. You can see that one. And then my forehead line softened in this one. Okay? So practice makes perfect. And the more you use it, the more you get used to it. So thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!